Man, Devin Booker.
I'm keeping that in. I'm keeping that in.
Oh man.
Not a big fan of Devin Booker. Is that what I'm hearing?
But now, in all seriousness, y'all, let's get right to it. We're here to talk about a few things. Like to say, let's start off with all these players. I like we were talking off camera. I do see a lot of the influence of Steph Curry. A lot of these players, especially a lot of the younger players in the NBA, and not to mention not just NBA, but like within college and high school, and also coming up. And what I mean by that is the shooting form. Just right now, watching this Sixers and Warriors game, I've seen like at least 3 guys shoot literally from right here. And that's really it. I do think an influence from Steph Curry. I can't see any way or other reason what that'll be. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, not us, but some people would consider him the greatest shooter of all time. But I mean, if that's what it takes for people to have really trash forms, by all means, I guess do that. But I mean, what happened to the fundamentals? That's not fundamentally shooting. He could get away with that because he actually learned that from since he was a kid. Like, if you ever seen like the little snippets of him running around in the NBA court and shooting a 3, literally that's the same shot he had till now.
A little baby shot.
No, but for real, like I'm pretty sure you've seen like the little snippet. It's literally the same shot. What's funny to me is that his brother, Seth Curry, doesn't have the same form.
He's got a good shot, actually.
Yeah, like he has nice form, but yeah, I just that really kind of bothered me a little bit, that I see that a lot of the younger players, and like I'm pretty sure we're gonna see a lot of players now that were influenced by Curry at a younger age start shooting like that.
Oh yeah. Well, it's funny. When I watch, sometimes I'll see some kid, a highlight reel or something, come across my desk on Instagram or YouTube, and I'm like, oh, they got some bounce, or they got some shiftiness, some pepper in the pan, some salt in the dish, some sauce in the spaghetti, and but then I was like, I want to see their jump shot. And then when it gets to the point where they shoot a jumper, and all of a sudden, like, it's like a step back, set shot under their chin, I'm like, all right, he's limited. I mean, you can have all that pepper, and obviously there's different ways to impact the game, but as a shooter, I see all these kids shooting under their chin. And one of the reasons why I can't stand like people just drooling over Steph Curry is, yeah, he can shoot super deep. And I have this conversation a lot with people. When your dad is Del Curry and you also have a brother who is trying to make the league, you have a gym that you can shoot in your entire life with no regard.
His brother did make the league.
Right. So, I mean, but he's got his brother like pushing him. And so, like, you know what I mean? So you have your brother pushing you. So that competitive fire, like I think Michael Jordan said, if his brother was 6'5", there wouldn't be a Michael Jordan. It would be his brother. Like, so having him to push him, but then having your dad be Del Curry, who's a bona fide 3-point sniper in his era, he had the literally the recipe for success. He had to put the work in, and obviously Steph has, but so not everyone can get away with shooting under your chin. Me and you learn from Art Dye. Again, reiterate, my favorite coach of all time, and the best coach I've ever had of all time. And he instilled the fundamentals, getting that L, getting the, your shot above your head, not in front of your face, you know what I mean? Not under your chin. It needs to be up here because there's too many limitations anywhere else.
Yeah.
And it's similarly like you saw Lonzo's shot where he used to shoot on the left side.
Face. That's from here across his face. Yeah.
Like, do you know how easy that is to guard? He literally had to do a specific thing to get his shot off, and it's like it's a tell. It's no matter how good, like Sean Marion's shot, and he's not even a shooter, and he's not ever going to be, guarded like a shooter, so he can get away with kind of just doing some bullshit ass, shot.
He's shooting right here under his chin.
Yeah, but like, remember how we used to clown Sean Marion for his jumper? Like, everyone's kind of shooting fugly now, just
for
throwing it
sure.
under their chin.
And what irks me is that even though we're saying this, it's a shooters league though. Like, ain't that crazy? Like,
Yeah.
more threes are being taken with such like really bad form. To your Sean Marion point, I think the reason he got away with it was because they didn't want to get embarrassed, because more back then, you're more in that era, you wanted more twos and instead of and layups and dunks more than you did want a bunch of threes. Even though he was under the D'Antoni system, he was like literally probably one of the not pioneers, but one of the detrimental part to it, along with the Stoudemire running the court with Sean Marion, because they already had their two shooters in Joe Johnson when they had him, and Quentin Richardson. And then also Rajah Bell. Granted, he wasn't the greatest three-point shooter, but for that team, he did work.
Right.
But Sean Marion didn't need to shoot threes. Yeah, he'll shoot it if he's wide open, but you're not counting on him to just knock down 10 threes in a game. So like, you know what I'm saying? And so a lot of people just clowned him on that, because more likely he was going to give you the hustle points, he was going to play defense, and he was just going to get dunks. That's what his main role was on the team. So no one really cared about his shooting form.
Right.
Like Lonzo Ball, granted, I'm really glad that he did change his form, because now his form looks like an actual jump shot. I'm just surprised that even in his first 2 years of shooting like this, he was still able to get jumpers off more than I was expecting him to get off. But also look at LaMelo Ball, the same thing as Curry. And I think it could work for him in a sense, because he is 6'8", maybe might even grow another inch or two, maybe. But yeah, no, so that works for him, just because he's already tall enough so he can. But imagine if he shot higher and had a better form. I think his shooting percentage might be a little bit better. But yeah, so that, like I'm saying, like, it's just odd to see how that from Steph Curry's shooting forms literally like changing the league on how kids are shooting today.
Well,
it just blows my mind.
And I think if technically, I will say there's a pro to shooting like that. Two pros that I can think of to shooting under your chin. And for anyone listening out there, if you shoot down here, like, we're not saying you're a bum, but that's awful mechanics, my guy. Like,
you
should not be shooting under your chin. Like when I was 8 years old, I couldn't get the ball in the basket. You do that. It's
one thing, yeah.
Right. But when you're a grown man, when you hit high school, when you hit junior high, like, you got to start instilling, you want your elbow to be straight here. I mean, even if it's cocked, I mean, you can have some variations. I'm not saying it has to be JJ Redick or, I like Clay's jumper. It's pretty,
same. Yeah.
Really technically sound. But so there's two pros I can think of shooting like a betch under your chin. And I say that with respect. Not a bitch, a betch. Is one, it's the speed of the shot. So like some of the reasons why Trae Young, LaMelo, Steph can get those shots off is because it's quicker, like your launch point is right there, you know what I mean? And it could be kind of one motion, and you can just kind of do it from wherever.
Yeah.
So you can get the jumper off quicker. And actually you see a lot of like, when you're in a groove and like, like I said, we shoot up here. So if you're in a groove and then you like have to go there and you kind of can just flick it and you're feeling it and you don't even have to do the whole follow through. It's almost like that off rip on God's swordless side curtains. By default, you just shoot just under your chin and you're throwing it. So speed is one. And then two, I think, is distance. So technically, if you're shooting under your chin, it's more of a push. You can kind of use your guide hand and, and you can kind of launch it more than actually having the strength and the technical fundamentals to just shoot the ball. So, which is why we talk about Dame a lot. Half court is one thing, but like you see Dame's jumper is like the same mechanics from 20 feet, 30 feet, wherever. And so he's got the same type of fundamentally sound release, which allows him to be more efficient. And besides the anomalies like Curry, Trae Young, and I'll even throw LaMelo in there for now because of his confidence, by pushing it, you can get more distance on it, but I feel like it's very much less efficient because you don't have the act unless you are in the gym like those dudes and that's all you do. Because I know a lot of people who can shoot like that and can shoot well, but you can't get that shot off unless you back up or if you're really quick. And the
Yeah.
quicker and farther you go, the less efficient you'll be. That's just kind of how it goes. So I personally don't like it. And I don't know if kids just don't have someone to mentor them and teach them how to shoot the ball, or like you said, if you're seeing your favorite player take over the league, Curry and LaMelo Ball now is going to be the next wave of generation's favorite player potentially. You're seeing these dudes, even Jello. I know we're talking a lot of balls, pause, but they're all shooting kind of like right here, and it's just that's anyone can shoot any kind of like just set shot, like spot up, but you can't get that shot off efficiently if the defense can just put a hand up. Like,
Yeah.
think about guarding Lonzo Ball when he had this shot. Like, you you can put your hand right where his shooting pocket is going to be, and he has to kind of do the step back to get it off, which makes you way more guardable. And
No,
when
for
you're
sure.
shooting a bad percentage in the first place, like, so
Right.
we need lethal shooter or someone to get these kids in line.
No, for sure. But yeah, that was just a little pet peeve I've been seeing lately, and I don't know, man. Hopefully, a lot of these kids don't do that because it's still not fundamentally sound. Like I've had a peeve about certain trainers that don't really teach the kid fundamentals, and don't they just go right straight to the pepper and nothing of the fundamentals. But I mean, that's a whole other topic. But
No, well, yeah, well, on real quick on that, um, just the actual you don't bake a cake with you don't start with the icing. I don't even like cake. I like pumpkin pie. That's what I get for my birthday. But you don't bake a cake with the icing. I'm assuming you need flour and eggs to make a cake.
right.
Like, these kids are being taught the icing first, and they're making shit cake. Like, it's awful that what's being done, and I feel like some of these new generation kids can get away with it when they get to the league because the rules are different. The rules
Oh,
are
for
soft.
sure. Your boy Nico's getting some burn right now.
I was at his graduation.
Wait, why?
I was there attending a family member's graduation.
Oh, okay. I was
but,
like, wait, you went to this guy's graduation?
I was there, and he graduated, and then Spencer Rattler from Oklahoma. So shout out Nico. Not that I know him, but but for me, yeah, no, there's I have a pet peeve on the fundamentals and whatnot too. So, like, again though, if you shoot under your chin, or if you immediately go to the park and do turnarounds and stuff, like, I guess more power to you. Probably not gonna make the league, but it's like with anything else.
Other news, your boy LeBron, my boy KD, and your boy AD, they're out still. And I kind of found this weird too. I was listening to Stephen A. and Max talk about it. And Stephen A. had a point saying that is this injury more serious than what we think? And the same thing goes for AD. Are there injuries more serious than what we think? Because they've been out a while. Like, I think Kevin Durant's been out, almost a month now, maybe?
Yeah, it's been a while.
And I didn't even realize that until I started seeing like James Harden and Kyrie putting up a bunch of numbers, and also them getting mentioned in MVP talk. And I was like, huh? I just thought that was odd. And then, like, I really just started focusing in on it. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So he has been playing. I don't know. Like, with him, I don't think it's necessarily his because it was his hamstring, I think he was out for. After like the COVID incident that they had. I don't think, I mean, maybe it could be, but me personally, I just don't think his hamstring is really that big of an issue. I think they're just trying to play it safe and play it smart. I mean, hell, he did come off a really bad injury, and I don't think, and he's not heavy enough if in my opinion anyways, and I'm not a medical doctor in no way, shape, or form, but just me playing the game and me thinking of it, and his size, I don't think he's heavy enough for him to really affect his hamstring this long, like a month long. Like I said, we've seen it with Kobe after his knee, and then he had issues with like that, and because overcompensating. DeMarcus Cousins, tore his hamstring, his knees again, and his hamstring ended up happening.
Mm.
But those guys were also pretty solid. I mean, we know DeMarcus is a really big guy. Kobe, solid player for his size. So he was what, 215? And to be 6'6", I mean, that's, for him, for Kobe, that's a pretty, firm build. Kevin Durant, 6'9", or 7 foot, some would give him. 240. I don't know, most people don't even believe he's really 240, how slender he is. So I don't know. I think they're just trying to play it safe, keep him ready for the playoffs. Because they already seen what he could do coming off of 2 years of being out,
Right.
and averaging 30, and still shooting way, 40% from three, damn near, almost 50% from the field.
He's still a lethal scorer.
No, for sure. So I just think they're trying to really just, just precaution for him. So I don't think there's anything crazy as far as like him deteriorating. I don't think it's that.
Right. Before you get to the other two, I think one thing with hamstrings, the more football I watch, as a Jaguar fan, I've had certain players on the Jags get hit with that hammy bug. And hamstrings are tricky because, again, I've seen where, you can pull a hammy and you can maybe even finish the game, or like it just feels tight. And there could be a slight tear in that. But the thing in football is like kind of 0 to 100. But like, I remember Marquise Lee was a wide receiver, and he hurts his hamstring. But then when he comes back 4 or 5 weeks later, 2 weeks later, whatever, when you open up, you can jog and you can look like completely healthy. But then when you open up to 100, that thing can go again, and then you feel it pull, and then you're sidelined again. And so what I think, like you said, it is more precaution than anything, which kind of brings me to a bigger point, is how kind of insignificant the regular season is for
sure.
NBA. Because, and we've talked about that for many years now, but especially in the era of the big three or big two or these super teams, when one of your
big four that they got going on.
Yeah. Apparently Blake Griffin can dunk now. Like we all thought he was washed. Like, but anyway, so yeah, I think it tells more to the side that when one of your three-headed monsters goes down, you still have two dudes, and on this team specifically, like two MVP candidates or four-headed monster. Why would you even risk him coming back? I mean, he's got to at some point get in a little bit of game shape and get that that moment, that rhythm back, knock the rust off. But just there's kind of no reason for these guys to play, right?
Oh, not at all. I guarantee you someone else is going to get a month off. It would be James Harden or Kyrie Irving. My bet is James Harden. We'll probably get a month. No, probably not James Harden, because James Harden really actually likes to play during the regular season. It'll probably be Kyrie Irving. We'll get probably a month off or so. Something will happen. They'll probably just let him rest, hang out.
Didn't he already get a month off? Like, didn't he just not show up?
I'm just saying, like, just what's gonna happen, I feel like. And that's usually what happens. I mean, we've seen that. Which leads me to my other two. LeBron's high ankle sprain. Now I'm not saying he didn't get hurt, but I'm also not saying like this could just be a ploy for LeBron to get some rest. Also make a case for his MVP run. Because we all know he wants to at least get one more to at least tie Jordan, and then possibly maybe break it maybe next year if he were to win this year. But no, I think he's ought to make a case, and we usually see this every year. Something will happen to LeBron, or he'll be out for a while, but he really looks like he's just chilling and just resting. Like I said, I'm not saying he didn't get hurt in this last game, but I'm just saying that if he's going to be out for a while, it's really just to rest. It's not really for anything else. He probably could have played on it still. And so that's how I feel about LeBron. And we see this every year. And he's just going to rest for the playoffs. I mean, they got a long way ahead of him with this playoff run, especially if AD doesn't play, which brings me back to this player who's known to be hurt. He's you know what I'm saying? He's prone to be hurt. It's nothing new. I mean, the Lakers should have expected this. So I really do think he's actually hurt. And you can say, yeah, Kevin Durant's prone to be hurt too. But I mean, Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant. He's still going to get, we just saw him at the beginning, missed 2 seasons and still act like nothing happened. So that's totally different beast. AD, we've seen him get hurt and, be out for a while. So I do believe he's actually really hurt, and they're trying to somehow keep it under wraps, make sure that he is okay for the playoffs. But I don't know. He might either be done for the season, or he might either just not be the same player because he might have more nagging injuries to follow.
Yeah, I think Anthony Davis has been injury prone his whole career, whether people want to talk about it or not. But when he is when he's on the court and he is somewhat healthy, I think he is in that top 5 kind of consideration.
For sure, yeah.
Which I think, to me, Anthony Davis is a bigger part of that Lakers team than LeBron. I think Anthony Davis is the guy in LA. I don't think they can win a championship with just LeBron and his supporting cast. I also think it's funny because we have a lot of Laker fan friends, and I think I will see. I think they'll hold on to a playoff spot if LeBron's out for a while, Anthony Davis is out for a while. But I see these talking heads, and they're saying how the Lakers have no chance if LeBron and Anthony Davis are out. And yeah, obviously, just like almost every other team, they don't have a chance to win a title. But that's what you get when you put all specific role players that fit LeBron's tendencies around them, and then you take LeBron out, or you take Anthony Davis out, who's the number one, the alpha, in my opinion, whether he's an alpha or not. But so everybody wants the Lakers and the Nets and the Clippers to get all of the good free agents or the old buyouts, like Blake Griffin. If he joined the Lakers, everyone wanted Marc Gasol until they realized, Marc Gasol might not really fit LeBron's play style. When he was good in Toronto, but then he's a good name. We got to get some big to replace Dwight and JaVale and all of them. So they keep wanting all the best role players, but role players are role players at the end of the day. You need your star. And if all your role players are specifically designed around your star players and you don't have your star players, then you're royally fucked. So I think the Lakers need Anthony Davis back to win a championship, kind of bottom line, in my opinion.
Same.
And LeBron in this era, he's going to get his points. He's going to get his stats. And I think he's a great talent, obviously. But and obviously me, who's dealt with ankle injuries at the end of my career, I don't like saying someone's, an ankle injury. I see some people saying, it's just an ankle injury, he should be fine. We both know how ankles can really affect you. Also mentally. I still can't get over watching people land near each other's feet. It is my biggest fear on the basketball court to have a player run at me while I shoot a jumper in the air and land on their feet.
For sure.
So mentally it's hard to get over. I think, could LeBron be back next week if this was the playoffs? Probably.
For sure.
But again, the regular season. Now, I have heard rumbles, though, that seeding matters in the West to a degree. So, some people are worried that they might not actually make the playoffs if LeBron is out an extended period of time. Do you feel the same way how I feel about, they will make the playoffs even?
Oh, no. I think, what are they, 2, 3 right now? Or 4?
I thought 6. That's what I heard. But are they 4?
Lakers dropped that far?
Maybe not. I don't.
I think that the Lakers will still be in a playoff seed. I don't think they lost that many.
Okay, so they're 4th. You said.
Okay, yeah. And 1, 2, or 3 are what, the Suns, Utah.
It's Utah, Suns, Clippers, and Lakers are tied. But then the Nuggets and Trailblazers are literally a game behind them, and then Spurs, Mavericks. I mean, it's a tight race.
Yeah,
technically
the West usually is, but I think they'll still. I think he's just gonna, like I said, gonna help LeBron's MVP rate, race to lose some games. LeBron's gonna come back, put him back to the 4th, 3rd seed. They'll be okay. But damn, where's I going with this? No, to mention, you said the Clippers were 3.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw they were talking about how shitty they were playing and how we've talked about how shitty they were playing, but they're still 3rd in the West. So I, I don't know, man. I've been hearing like some of these sportcasters keep saying that Kyle Lowry might be the choice. Also hearing Lonzo Ball, which I think is stupid to pick over there. I think they need someone who's had championship pedigree also to run along with Kawhi. And what other better player than Kyle Lowry? I really do think that should be the move that they make. If there is any way possible to get Kyle Lowry, I would try to get him to the Clippers because I think that move is going to actually take them over the top and they're going to actually win the championship this year. If they get Kyle Lowry, because that's what they need. They need a pit bull of a point guard. They need someone who's a floor general. They need someone who could get them a bucket and also let the wings be the wings. Like we saw what he let DeMarcus Cousins do. He let DeMarcus Cousins be the superstar. Not DeMarcus Cousins, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. DeMar DeRozan. And then when Kawhi got there, obviously Kawhi was the guy. So look at that. And they already played together. They won a championship together. I just think that's the best fit. And then I think Serge is there too, right? So
right.
That whole mesh just seems like they need Kyle Lowry and he's the missing piece. And I think that will lead them to the championship. And I think that right there will put them over the Lakers.
I know you're manifesting this Kyle Lowry to the Clippers. I would love to see it. I have not heard any rumblings about that. But
yeah, like Stephen A just said, like he would be the best fit if there's any way they could possibly make a trade for that. That's not like a thing that's actually going to happen, but it could if there's behind the works, all that.
Right.
Well,
I think that to me is a puzzle piece move. That's the final piece of the puzzle. Instead of this dude gets bought out like Andre Drummond or Blake Griffin, and it's just like this kind of number 1 or 2 guy on their team, just like the team just realizes, okay, we don't have a chance and we're going to let them go, to a contender or whatever. And I think it's kind of bizarre how the NBA literally will pay you to not play there anymore. And then you can go literally chase a ring in that same year. So like the Blake Griffin signing in Brooklyn is like, to me, that's not a puzzle piece move. That's like, hey, let's just try to add even more, the best reinforcements we can. And I think that's what like Brooklyn and like the Lakers do. They're trying to just get the best pieces. And the Clippers, if they got Kyle Lowry, that would be a perfect fit instead of just getting the biggest name on the market. But there are still some, big names. I think the trade deadline is Thursday, and the time we're recording this is Tuesday. So things could happen, by the time our next podcast.
No, for sure. But no, I really hope that does work. Because I do not think Lonzo Ball is the missing piece for any team that has veterans on it. I think he does need to be the leader of a young team that's coming up. I think New Orleans is the perfect fit because there's a bunch of young guys there, a bunch of players that he's already played with. I don't think any old veteran, not old veteran, but a champion in Kawhi Leonard, and I don't think Paul George, being the all-star that he is going to listen to Lonzo Ball. They need someone that has experience and that could take them there. And I think Paul George will respect Kyle Lowry in a sense that he's won a championship. He, you could say he was very detrimental in Toronto, not just in the year that they won the title, but the years leading up to it, going to the Eastern Conference Finals multiple times, Granted, they got swept by LeBron, but still, that no one expected. I don't think anyone really expected Toronto to ever really be good after Vince Carter. But then they found a way, to start rebuilding here and there at times. But no, I think that Kyle Lowry is the perfect piece for that team, and I really do hope that does happen. It probably won't, but maybe next year.
I just love how you're pounding the table for Kyle Lowry for my Clippers.
I just think that's just the perfect fit. If there was any player that I could see anywhere in this trade deadline, that's the perfect player to be in that situation. Right. Like I saw things saying that DeAndre Drummond's going to go to LA to the Lakers. That's a perfect fit to me. Like that stops LeBron from getting to the paint and creating. Like DeAndre Drummond's not a 3-point shooter, even though he takes them. He's barely, I think the most he's averaged in his career is 17, maybe 18 a game. that's not going to help. That's literally going to go to 11 points playing with LeBron, with AD, who's going to be their leading scorer, then LeBron, and then, having the rest of the role players figure out the rest of the place.
Well, and I think that right there is you're taking the biggest and best name, who I think Andre Drummond's not a bad basketball player, but
he's not.
if you put him now in like almost even a 6-man role, or like now he's just a role player, like they're getting all these dudes who like who could and should start on other teams now as like a role player. And it's just kind of, that's all you have, all these dudes ring chasing or, like getting bought out and going for 1-year deals or whatever. And it's, to me, I don't think the Lakers need to add, like they need to figure it out with what they have. They can't just keep adding dudes just because it's like, oh, this isn't 100% ideal. Like, could Michael Jordan have used more 3-point shooting? Sure. Could he have used a dominant big man to just dump it down to? Sure. But like if you surround your star player, like what happened to the crafting of good teams that just complement each other instead of just building around one guy? And then if that one guy is kind of not the guy, or like if he gets hurt, then it's just a moot year. Like the NBA now is not construct. That's why I kind of respected the Raptors, how like they went out and got Kawhi, and they swung for the fences, and then it paid off. You know what I mean? And like they have been competitive since Vince. They found Chris Bosh, they found DeMar DeRozan, they've gotten Kyle Lowry, they've made moves to make their franchise not a bottom feeder. And I'm really like happy for them that it paid off with Kawhi and they swung for the fences. But, in this day and age with all these superstars, I just find it funny how the collection of top free agents only want to go play with the top superstars. I mean? There's just no parity. Like the competition is fugly in today's NBA.
No, for sure. But yeah, so I guess we'll see in the next few days what kind of happens with any of this. But
yeah, we're back. We're back at it. And yeah, we'll see if any big moves happen. And then hopefully we got some more talking points for the next pod,
No, for sure. Stay tuned. We got some special coming up for y'all. Hopefully y'all like that too. But yeah, that's it for today. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this conversation. Like, subscribe, all that other good shit. Tell us how good of a job we're doing.
And how shitty of a job this shooting form is, because let's get that above the chin. All right, fellas, ladies and gentlemen out there, go to the park, work on some shooting, form shooting. That's all. Our diet. But yeah, no, appreciate y'all tuning in, and be ready for the next one.
Sure.